Okay.
George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people that we feel good about. Reggie Kelley is the director, executive director, founder of Rise Above Poverty. And I met Reggie some years ago when he was doing collecting personal items for individuals in particular schools in the Syracuse City School District. Well, he says to me, so much has happened since then. And so tell me about what Rise Above Poverty is now and how you're supporting families and individuals in the community.
Well, George, it's good to see you again and the opportunity to discuss with you Rise Above Poverty and what we've been doing since we last spoke. We're still in schools right now. It's hard to give you a number as to the number of schools because we're just all over the place. If a school reaches out to us, we do our best to reach out to them and help them with whatever they need. We're also in the Solvay School District as well and we've also donated to North Syracuse, their Roxborough Road Middle and Elementary School. So while we say we help students in the Syracuse City School District, we won't turn anyone away, and that's evidenced by the fact that we support Solvay as well as North Syracuse City Schools in this work. So that's
And
where we are right now.
What is the work? Tell me what the work is.
So part of the work is providing schools with the basic essentials that you and I and others may take for granted nowadays: soap, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, feminine care products, which is a huge issue and need in our schools. Nowadays, so many of our schools are doing laundry that we collect laundry detergent to help schools be able to help students not miss any time from school. And we still do clothing. We do socks and underwear, new coats and new hoodies as well. So we're still collecting donations and supplies to get them to students in need in our local and surrounding schools in the Syracuse area.
You said that because when we started talking to you back in the day, it was mainly personal hygiene products, right? And then you now just said that feminine hygiene products as a demand for those things. Is it because of the price of it? Is it because of accessibility? Why such a demand for those products in particular?
For feminine care items, we definitely know that for those who are on any type of public assistance, I don't believe those items, you can use those funds to purchase those items. And for many cases, if a young lady do not have access to them, because schools can provide them, but they can only provide them like on a daily basis. So if they are, for example, going home on spring break, the school can't give them enough supplies to last them through a break. But in any event, even if it's not a break of any sort, the schools don't have enough to provide students to take home or be able to equip themselves to handle a menstrual cycle over the weekend. And so what we do is we collect those items so that schools don't have to worry about that. We can bring them to the schools and they can allocate those items to the young ladies in need and make sure that they have enough so that they're prepared to handle that cycle, but also not miss any time from school, because young ladies who do not have access to feminine care items typically miss 3 to 4 days a month from school because they don't have access.
And obviously they don't want to be in school if they can't take care of those very personal needs. So Reggie, Rise Above Poverty started how?
Rise Above Poverty started almost 7 years ago. Next month, it'll be 7 years from me reading a newspaper article about poverty and homelessness in the Syracuse City School District. Just reading that article, I was so dumbfounded by the statistics. I had to read it 2 more times. And after the 3rd time, I said, the Lord said, "Hey, Reggie, I want you to help these kids." And I had no idea what that would look like. So I just went to the school mentioned in the article, which was Danford Middle School, now known as Brighton Academy, and met with the caseworker, Danny Perkins, and she shared with me some of the things that her students need. And she said, they're just basic things that you and I take for granted. There's soap, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, things that, we have access to, but many of my kids in this school do not. And so I said, well, how can I help you? And she said, just get me those things, socks and underwear. She says, many of my kids don't participate in gym because they don't have socks. And so after hearing that, I said, well, how am I going to help this lady? I just committed myself to helping her, but I don't know how. And
Right.
as I was thinking, the Lord says, I want you to reach out to your network. And I'm like, Lord, I don't have a network. I'm just a husband with 2 kids. And he says, no, I want you to reach out to your co-workers. I was working at BNY Mellon Bank at the time. And that business employed about 600 people. And I had a great network because I was there as an employee for about 15 years. And so I reached out to my work colleagues, my family, my friends, and I was sharing with them the passion that God had placed on my heart. And from there, Rise Above Poverty was born. We started with one school that first year, but now we've been at least 20 schools in the Syracuse area. And that includes, like I said, North Syracuse, Solvay. We've donated to many of the nonprofit businesses that help others in the Syracuse surrounding area. So Booth House, Vera House, Oxford Street Inn, the Samaritan Center. So anyone that has a need as it relates to poverty and we can help them, we typically do.
And that's something. And I love the idea that how God moves in you. Like, in other words, you didn't have to have the answer. You just needed to solve the problem.
Right.
And you moved faithfully through that. And I think that's a beautiful thing, especially you just reading an article and say, how can I help? Right. And it just shows you that each of us has the capability of making a difference in some small way. Now you've got a whole ministry, if you will, and talk about that, because I know that's ultimately what has now become of this.
So yeah, so we started 7 years ago, collecting the hygiene and the clothing part. But 4 years ago, once again, the Lord said to me after reading the statistics about the illiteracy rates in the Syracuse City School District, hey, help these kids, help them with their reading. I'm not a politician. I just see a need. I want to meet it. So 4 years ago, we started 2 programs, actually. We started a reading clinic, which helps students in grades 2nd through 6th with their reading, because our goal, our objectives is to help them read on grade level. Right now in Syracuse, 87% of 3rd and 4th graders, I believe, do not read on grade levels. And I'm always stressing to parents, don't be misled by the fact that your child is passing reading. Find out if they're reading on grade level. That's the important part. And there's so much information on whether or not, if your child is not reading on grade level by that grade, they're more likely to be incarcerated, more likely to drop out, more likely to get on drugs, more likely to be a statistic regarding teen pregnancy. So we want to use education as a form of helping others rise above poverty. And so we started that 4 years ago, and we also started a boys mentoring program called Battle Ready Men. The purpose is to help young men deal with effectively the topics and the issues that they're going to face in life. I'm a pastor, but this is not a Bible study. This is a mentoring program. So we walk with the boys on topics such as respect, integrity, peer pressure, relationship, responsibility, social media, all the things that at this age they're vulnerable to. And so we want to walk through them through this stage of life to help them be successful. So we started that program as well, like I said, 4 years ago. And recently we just started our girls program, Little Ladies of Promise, same age group, 7 to 14. Again, we want to empower the young people in our communities to be better, because we can. One of the things that we stress, at least in our mentoring program, we have what we call career days, and we have Black male, and I stress it, Black male professionals come in and speak to our boys, because we want to show presentation to them when we have people come in. We want somebody that looks like them, that they can relate to, come in and talk to them about the career path that they took to be where they are now.
And what does that look like for people who are interested in supporting this mentoring program? Is it just within your church community, or is it outside of the church community that people can be involved in that?
No, it's open to everyone. So it's not limited to the church. The church is great. I'm on staff here as one of the children's pastor, but Rise Above Poverty is its own entity, its own business, own organization. So we open it up to the community. And they knew that when they brought me on. That's why they brought me on, because they wanted to reach out to the community.
Right.
They wanted someone that already had a voice, so to speak, to be like their chairperson, to say, hey, we welcome you. We want you to come aboard. So the reading clinic, the mentoring programs, They all are open to the public. We do stress, like I said, we do want Black and brown representation when we have events for our boys, but we don't, if we welcome all. So if someone out there saying, well, my he's not Black or brown, he's Caucasian, hey, bring him. We love him. The first few members of our program, they were in fact Caucasian boys, and we loved them. They've gotten older and transitioned to sports at this point of life for them, but we welcome all people.
But nobody, like, look, if somebody wants to be helped, you ain't turning nobody away who wants to be supported.
Not.
So let's go to the reading clinic. When does that happen, and how? Because you see, in the community with the Syracuse Reads Plus, so much emphasis now being placed on making sure that the literacy rates are improving in our community. And so how does the reading clinic work, and how do people connect with that?
So the Reading Clinic is a program we run 2 times a week. We run them on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4:30 to 6:30. And our program is a little different than other programs in the community. And the fact that I have a educator, she's a teacher. We administer pre and post assessments because we want to gauge students when they come into the program, and we want to gauge them when they leave. We want to gauge our effectiveness. So we do pre and post assessments. We have a great connection with Syracuse University in upstate. They provide us with volunteers. So we're in most cases able to give students who come into our program one-on-one attention each and every day. So our program started in March last month, and it'll run through, I believe, June 6th or June 8th. And again, we meet twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And like I said, we don't turn anyone away. So if you have a child, student, nephew, niece, grandchild, and they're struggling with their reading, I strongly urge you to get them involved into the Reading Clinic, because we do want to help. Our goal is to help students not just read on grade level, but develop a pattern of loving to read for themselves.
And where can they bring their child for that, or how do they sign up?
Yep, so they can sign up. They can call Syracuse Alliance Church and leave a message. They can contact Rise Above Poverty. Our phone number is 315-937-4321. That number again is 315-937-4321, and they can just leave a message.
That's beautiful. And then on the mentoring program, for both boys and girls, who are you looking for, and how do people support that?
Well, so different, again, if we often don't look for the support in regards to financial contributions.
What I mean, people
that's
who want to,
accepted. Yeah. But what we want is people out there who feel that they're at their wits' end, saying, I don't know what to do. I hate to bring up the statistic, but I share the facts that most of our boys are not in a home where dad is present. And so sometimes they need that interaction. Moms always bring their boys to our program, and they're worried about whether or not they'll like it. And I said, guarantee you, by the time you come back, they're not going to be ready to leave, because they're around men and other boys, peers their age. And our program is held in a gym. So we get to play basketball, football. We have foosball tables, ping pong tables, and games. So it's a guy atmosphere. So while we do tackle heavy subjects, we also allow them to have time for fun. So again, if parents are out there, a young man that could benefit from mentoring, please give us a call. We would love to have them. And the same thing for our girls program. It's new, but same principles. We just want to help others.
And for the men who want to support the program by their presence, how do they do that?
They can give me a call at the number I listed earlier at 315-937-4321. And I tell individuals who seek or inquire about the program, we meet with our boys three times a month on Mondays from 6 to 7:30. And then on the fourth Monday, we take a break from the boys and we come together for planning as mentors. So our mentoring program requires a commitment that you're going to be there 4 times a month on Mondays to be with the boys, but also involved in the planning when we do have our sessions with our boys, young men.
And for those who want to donate the toiletries and other items, where do they bring the things? Or if groups, organizations, fraternities, sororities want to, and community-based organizations want to support, how do they do that?
So they can, everyone, again, they can dial the number that I gave
Dial that
earlier.
number,
They
but like,
can reach out to us on Facebook. That's a great way. I can give my email. It's a long one, so I usually don't give our email out because it's very long. But if they reach out to us on Facebook and leave a message, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. We're very attentive to our audience and community.
and what are you collecting right now?
Right now, we're always collecting deodorant because that's the biggest need in our school. So we need deodorant and we need adult size underwear for both genders.
Okay.
We donate to high schools, and the high schoolers are typically out of those kid sizes, they're wearing adult sizes. So we need adult sizes across the board for both genders right now.
And do you have, like, I know a lot of times the larger sizes are not included in the donation. So how take me XL, 2X, 3X. What are the sizes you need?
So we need all sizes. So we need small, medium, large, extra large, and 2X, particularly
Okay.
for the boys, because men underwear costs about $20. So they don't get a lot of attention. We don't get a lot of donations for that. But if people just say, okay, I can't afford $20, hey, $10 is great. I tell people all the time, any contribution, any
So
donation is appreciated.
do you want the underwear or you want the money?
I typically tell people the product,
The
because
product.
when they buy the product, it resonates a little more. They understand that,
Okay.
hey, I'm
Right.
buying this for someone who may not have underwear.
So the
And in
next,
most cases, they
yeah.
don't.
So the next time I'm in the store and I want to pick a couple extra packages of the kind that I
Yes.
wear, then because you don't care what style it is, or do
No.
you have right? It's just, and then the same thing
Don't care.
for the girls. And deodorant, are we talking roll on? Not roll on, they don't do that anymore.
Just
But
the stick.
yeah.
Yeah, just the stick.
Roll on. Dating myself. I meant the stick.
I didn't say that, George, because I feel you. I feel you. I knew what you was talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? What is he
Yeah.
talking about? Roll on.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I said that.
Yeah.
It's just what came to my mind. The stick and any kind would be great. So deodorant, underwear for both genders, and what else did you say?
I think that was it. I think underwear.
That's what you're looking for right now. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. And then when the group is ready for the donation, where do they go?
So they can just give me a call if they.
Just give a call and then
and by that time we probably communicated either by messenger or email, and we'll just arrange a time, because I love showing people our facility and how it works.
Okay.
We count everything that we receive, so we count everything because it helps us with our auditing purposes, and we track everything that we send out to schools because we want to document what we do. One of the things that I love about our organization is when we go to a school, we take pictures and document, because it shows our community, this is where your money's going. This is where the donation that you just picked up at Target or Walmart, that package of underwear, this is where it's going to. It's helping a student that in need. Last month I went to Henniger to make a donation, and I couldn't believe that they needed boys underwear so bad. And I said, well, you guys don't have any underwear? She said, well, we do, but the boys don't want to wear tighty whities. They didn't want to wear those. So and they said that they didn't have a lot to spare. And I said, is it really that much of a need? And they say, yes, we really need it. Your donation today is going to supply us for a good amount of time. But I've been doing this for 7 years, George, and even though I've been doing it that long, every time I hear a story like that where I'm looking at teenagers going to school and needing underwear, it still stuns me for a moment, where I have to process and say, this is why you're doing this, Reggie, because there are young people going to school without underwear.
Amen. Well, you're doing the Lord's work, and we appreciate the work you're doing. Rise Above Poverty is the name of the organization, and you can help. They've got a reading clinic, they got 2 mentoring programs, and more importantly, the donations of deodorant and underwear for both genders will go a long way in supporting the organization. Let's give that phone number out one more time.
Yes, 315-937-4321.
All right, folks, here's what I need you to do. When you call Reggie, you tell him that that I heard your request on Inspiration for the Nation. And
Yes, sir.
I'm happy George sent me, and that's why I'm here. All right.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right. Celebrating people we feel good about, inspiration for the nation. Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you, George.